watching the Newshour Special Edition.
And what's wrong with saffronisation? With that one question, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu has set a cat amongst the pigeons. Speaking at an event in Haridwar, he's called for total rejection of the Macaulay system of education from the country, lamenting how prolonged colonial rule meant that Indians were taught to be ashamed of and despise their own culture and heritage.
We want to go back to our roots, know the greatness of our culture and heritage, and understand the great amount of treasury in our Vedas, in our books, in our scriptures. What is your problem? No, they don't want us to go and know our own greatness. They want us to suffer with that inferiority complex. They say you are all saffronizing. What is wrong in saffron? मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहे.
However, the arguments made in favor of Indianization of school syllabus did not cut ice with the opposition, who dubbed it unconstitutional.
देखिए, उनके लिए गलत नहीं है, लेकिन उनको इस देश का संविधान भी पढ़ना चाहिए. ये देश एक सेकुलर मुल्क है, धर्मनिरपेक्ष मुल्क है और सभी धर्म को बराबरी का अधिकार है.
यहाँ पे अभी तक हमको यही पढ़ाया गया तो मुगलों ने बनाया या अंग्रेजों ने बनाया है. क्या हम हिंदुस्तानी कुछ भी नहीं कर पाए? आप देखिए कि किसी ने कुछ किया है क्या? मुझे लगता है कि उन्होंने सही कहा है कि हमें कहीं ना कहीं अपने विकसित देश को, अपने इतिहास को याद करना चाहिए.
You're watching the Newshour Special Edition, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, let's take this across to our guest. With us is C Rajasekharan, lawyer. Joining us on the broadcast is National BJP spokesperson Sanju Verma. Shahid Ali is advocate and president of United Muslim Front. Let me begin with you first, Mr. Shahid Ali. The point being made by the vice president is this. He says that if our foreign policy today, has Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, all be happy, and Vasudeva Kutumbakam, that the world is one family, which is very much contained in an ancient text and are guiding principles of India's foreign policy even today, what is wrong in actually implementing that or teaching that as part of our educational system? That's the question being asked here by the Vice President. What would you say about that? Can you hear me, Mr. Shahid Ali? But I think he hasn't got the audio yet. I'll go across to him. C Rajasekharan, this is the question being put forward by the Vice President, that thoughts which are contained in our ancient texts are very much part of even a foreign policy today. So what is wrong in actually admitting to that is a question that he is asking. Your response to that, C Rajasekharan.
I have no issues in going to the roots and studying the whatever education policy with regard to Vasudeva Kudumbakam and all, fine. But it should not be imposed. There should be an existing syllabus which is fine for several decades. And everybody has come out. We have made scholars, Abdul Kalam's, even Mr. Venkaiah Naidu Ji, the Honorable His Excellency Vice President, also from the same school which he is now objecting to, same education system which he is now objecting to. So there is no wrong. But it can be a syllabus for whatever school they want to bring in. But let the syllabus also continue. There is an existing syllabus. We have the best of the brains in India. In fact, all the multinationals, we rule the world. Example, Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, everybody studied the same education which was existing for several decades. See, I have no issues in studying whichever syllabus they are going to give us, but it should, the choice should be left with the parents and the students, not to be imposed.
Okay, it should not be imposed, this should be a choice. That's the point coming in from C Rajasekharan. Respond to that, Sanju Verma.
Madhav, first and foremost, the Vice President was making an address at the South Asian Institute of Peace and Reconciliation at Haridwar, where he made a lot of points, as you rightly said. Even our foreign policy is based on reacting only if we are provoked, and on the universal concept of not just the world is one family, which is symbolized by Vasudeva Kutumbakam, but also we believe in Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pushyantu. Basically saying that we wish well to everybody, let nobody succumb to disease, let nobody succumb to ill health, everybody should be happy and prosperous. My simple point is this, that, if you look at the Gita, or you look at the Vedas, you look at the Puranas, you look at the Upanishads, do they teach only about Hinduism? Are these religious scriptures? My answer is a vehement no. If you look at the Gita, for example, it talks about universal brotherhood, it talks about peace, it talks about restraint, it talks about the means being as important as the end, it talks about lust and greed that need to be curtailed, it talks about change being the only constant. It is very modern in its approach. And, I will just give you a small example, Madhav. I remember that a couple of years back, in fact, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi assumed office in the first term, on the 11th of December 2014, the United Nations, when 69th General Assembly of the United Nations, he told the United Nations we need to celebrate yoga because yoga is not limited to just one nation.
Okay.
It should have universal acceptance.
Okay.
And from 21st June 2015, 193 countries have been celebrating International Yoga Day.
Okay.
The point I'm making is that a lot of Indian ethos, cultural texts, religious scriptures have universal acceptance, and we need
Let me take
to
that question across to
follow
C Rajasekharan. C Rajasekharan, if India can be proud of contributing yoga to the world and also International Yoga Day being observed across over 100 countries, as Sanju Verma was just telling us, if this is something that, is a testament to India's soft power internationally, as I was making earlier a point, then why are we so scared? In fact, the Vice President makes that point. He says that years of teaching in a colonial system or centuries of colonial rule has taught us to look upon ourselves as an inferior race. We are taught to despise our own culture, traditional wisdom. So if that is being rectified, what is the problem with that is a question that the Vice President is asking.
With the utmost respect to the Honorable Vice President, if that is the case, if we are inferior, if somebody thinks inferior, I disagree with them, because I want to reiterate this point. Who is the CEO of Google? Who is the CEO of all these multinational companies which work from USA, America? So everybody is from India. So if they are inferior, if they are felt so, would they achieve so much of heights in their career and life? Point number one. Point number two, we have no problems in bringing another syllabus with all this tradition, culture, roots of this country. But the Sanskritization of education is the main moot point which we are afraid of. And the Saffronisation was also okay for some, but not for all. So it should be a collective education policy in the interest of everybody's wish. It should not be with one group or one section or one particular people who, with their whims and fancies, to be executed. That is not at all acceptable in our people.
Okay. He seems to suggest that this is an ideological project. This is an ideological project that will only be acceptable to a section, Sanju Verma, and that's why he is opposing it. Your response?
He made some interesting points. He said we have people like Satya Nadella, we have people like, Sundar Pichai. But tell me, Madhav, we are a country now of 1.38 billion people. How many Sundar Pichais, how many Satya Nadellas, how many Indira Nuis, how many Ashok Vemuris, how many Ajay Bangas, how many Leena Nair, how many Jayashri Ullals, how many Sanjay Mehrotra, the CEO of Micron Technology globally, how many Arvind Krishna, the global head of IBM, how many global CEOs has a country of 1.38 billion people given? So the point I'm trying to make is that if you also, deconstruct the current colonial setup, which is so evident and so deeply entrenched in your education system, and you give boost to the local ethos, then I'm sure we'll do much better. I'll give you a small example. I have traveled the world, a couple of times when I was serving as, CEO across a wide battery of firms in my earlier stint. In Germany, you'll be surprised to 14 of the top 20 universities in Germany have Sanskrit as one of the official languages, and the University of Heidelberg in Germany had so many students wanting to learn Sanskrit that they had to open summer schools in Switzerland and in Italy. 4 out of the top 5 universities in United Kingdom have Sanskrit
Okay.
Austria, Belgium, Finland.
I want to come across to other guests. There are two other guests joining us. Yeah, two other guests now joining us. Let me take that question across to Anirban Banerjee first. Anirban Banerjee, if globally, there is a precedent of Sanskrit being taught, being learnt in universities, why is there so much of fear of Sanskritization, quote unquote, as one of the guests was earlier mentioning? Is it not part of our heritage? Is it not part of who we are as a citizenry? Is a question that the Vice President is asking.
Sir, I'll tell you, in Kolkata, there's a very old college called the Sanskrit College. We, in Bengal, in Kolkata, we have an entire college where Sanskrit is taught in the higher studies. We, the people of India who want to follow the constitution of our country, have nothing, absolutely nothing against Sanskrit. We have absolutely nothing against the Gita or the Quran or the Bible or the Tripitaka, whatever it is. The BJP, they try to put on a show as if nothing was taught in India in the last 70 years. Then from where the names that Madam was mentioning, Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai, whatever the names are, Obijit Binayak Bandyopadhyay, Amartya Sen, I mean, which education system did they come out of? That type of picture that the BJP tries to present, that the India was in the ruins for the last 70 years, nothing good happened here. It is the BJP only after 2014 which is rediscovering India. Sir, they are trying to take us back to the dark ages. I agree that we must get out of the colonial mindset. For us to do that, we must kick out that particular political party which used to be the bootlicker of this colonial ruler.
Okay, I think we are going on a tangent. We're going on a tangent. Let's stick to education. Let's stick to saffronization of education. Anirban, this is a very serious issue. This is a very serious issue. I think education. One second, sir. Let's stick to the issue of education and what has been said by the Vice President in particular. Let me take this question. You made an important point that it is being projected, and Sanju Verma, this is a charge coming in from the political analyst over here. Mr. Anirban Banerjee says that it is being projected as if before everything was completely in doldrums and that nothing good ever happened. That's not the case. There is a very strong educational system that exists in India, and we have products of that who are global leaders of big corporations to even prove for that. Your response?
Madhav, first and foremost, he's not a Trinamool Congress supporter and maybe a member too. I think that needs to be made very clear. People who
he leans towards the Trinamool Congress, that's right.
Yeah, so that needs to be mentioned. People who sit here and give gyan to the BJP that, BJP is indulging in saffronization, it is, completely cracking down on the secular ethos of the country by engaging in majoritarianism. I think that is a whole lot of hogwash, and I'll tell you why. Do you remember, Madhav, a couple of years back, maybe barely 18 to 24 months back, Mamata Banerjee was so scared, she changed Ram Navmi into Ranga Navmi. Ram Dhenu into Ranga Dhenu, Ram Setu into Ranga Setu. So I think, being
what
Hindu...
What are you speaking of, ma'am? No, you cannot simply lie like this. No, I'll not allow this. Madhav, she is simply putting out lies. She is simply putting out lies. We don't need to learn Bangla from someone who has no idea about the language.
Okay, one at a time. Sanju Verma, he has a problem. I'm going to allow him to counter you. Here, he is saying that there is a factual problem what you are saying. Let him make his point. You can respond to him. You can respond to him, Sanju Verma. Let him make his point. What is the factual error that you are pointing out, Anirban? What is the factual error?
The rainbow, the word she was referring to, rainbow, is known as Ramdhonu. It is also known as Rangdhonu. Nobody has to change it. We have multiple words for a particular type of natural phenomenon.
Okay.
So nobody is changing anything to something else. She does not have any idea about the Bangla language.
So your allegation is that the translation is being misinterpreted. That's a charge, Sanju Verma.
Now I did not interrupt him. Please stop getting so rattled. I know my facts too well and I don't need to learn.
If you lie about my mother tongue, I will get rattled, madam.
Madhav, either you have this...
Please don't lie about my mother tongue.
Respond to the point. Please respond to the point. Let's not get into a side debate. Respond to the point that he is making. He is saying that there is a problem in the translation. Your response to that?
Madhav, you allowed him. He said this party needs to be thrown out. Did you interrupt him even once?
I'm giving you a chance, madam. Respond to his question. I'm giving you the floor. Please respond to him.
Yes, so let me respond. First and foremost, I will take 20 seconds to tell you the party that you want to throw out Your Mamata Didi supported Akhilesh. We all know cycle puncture ho gayi, hawa. In Tripura, you said we will win the local body elections. You won 1 seat out of 334. So please stop giving bhashan to BJP. Now coming to the charge of, you know,
Anirban. Now let her make a point. I'm going to come back to you as well. There are other guests who have not yet spoken, like Atiq or Rehman. Go ahead, Sanju Verma.
Thank you, Madhav. Madhav, you know, we can get into this whole debate about semantics and translation. The fact of the matter is, if you look at the national education policy of the Modi government of 2020, I think that clearly says, while we do want to promote, all languages, we have 23 official languages. But I remember Prime Minister Modi making a speech a couple of years back where he said that while we have 23 official languages, most of us believe that upward mobility and good jobs can come in only if we know English, we talk in English, we write our exams in English. That is why even the National Education Policy said mandatorily till class 5 and preferably till class 8, you need to have one subject which is the
all right. We know. Yes, we are aware. We are aware of what the policy really has, and let me, on that basis, ask a question to Atiq Rehman. Atiq Rehman, if when the Vice President comes out and says that this is just an extension of the national education policy that's being spoken about here, and he says we should feel proud of our heritage, our culture, our forefathers, we must go back to our roots, we must give up colonial mindset, teach our children to take pride in their Indian identity, we must learn as many Indian languages as possible, we must love our mother tongue. What is objectionable or wrong in what the Vice President has said, in your view, Mr. Atiq Rehman?
Madhav, it's raining prizes and mega prizes for everything. You speak, you preach, you make a film for saffronization. You know, Madhav, to talk of mother tongue does not mean that you need to be saffronizing everything related to education. Herein, you need to take the entire concept of the Vice President in the larger canvas. Why he is talking of saffronization? There is a big ladder in front of him in the next year. The president's election is coming, and talking saffronization is undermining everything that our constitutional fathers did to prevent our nation becoming a Hindu Rashtra. This is a big, giant leap towards Hindu Rashtra and nothing else. In the garb of the national education policy, you cannot play with the whims and fancies and the aspirations of these people. The people want to challenge the 21st century, face the challenges in their scientific temperament, not undermining English, not undermining any other language. But herein, the name of saffronization has no definition as far as pedagogy is concerned.
All right. We'll have to leave it there for the moment. Sanju Verma and C Rajasekharan will stay with us for the next debate. I'd like to thank Atiq Rehman and Anirban Banerjee for joining us on this debate.
The News Hour Special Edition will be right back after